All right, so this is my thermal diffusion setup. The material that the thermal energy is going to diffuse through is this steel chisel. It's approximately an inch wide by 3/8 of an inch thick. That's about a centimeter deep. I've embedded digital temperature probes 3 centimeters apart, and each of those is only the holes are only drilled deep enough that the probe fits down into it. It does not go all the way through, as you can kind of tell from that. I've wired each into a terminal strip, and then I'm recording the temperature, or pulling and recording the temperatures with an Arduino, which outputs the temperatures through the USB cable to my computer, which is what's going on here. This is a very basic program that I could put together in a few minutes, but it records the time in milliseconds, which is the 173,000 number that you're looking at. Then it has the address of each of the temperature probes, and then the temperature in Celsius and the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. And then I will process this afterwards in Python or R or something along those lines. Alright, we're going to do this again. We're going to launch the logger. Alright, it's underway. All the temperatures are around 23.5 degrees Celsius. And we're going to add some heat into the middle with the plumbing torch, while trying not to burn down the office. It's a little not ideal, given that it's not a point source, but I'm going to burn my wires.
Is that fire?
No, I'm not setting fire. And there we go. Now the center ones are hot, and it's going to diffuse to the outer ones. And when you do experiments like this, make sure that you have an audience.
All right, well, now that you've seen my very messy office and my disheveled children, I want to show you some of the plots that came out after I looked at this in R. I chose R over Python simply because I'm quicker at R at this point. Python was new to me for this class, but it doesn't really matter. So this first one is a plot of the temperature of the 6 sensors over time, and the first thing you'll notice is that if you remember that I put the torch more or less between the third and the fourth sensors, which are the blue and the green traces in this plot, and obviously I didn't do a great job of centering the intensity of the heat between them, because the blue sensor registered a much higher temperature than the green, and you can see that down in the further the red and the black sensors are the two that are on the side of the blue, and the kind of pink and orange or lavender and orange traces are on the sort of green side of the bar. So more or less this is all what you would expect for sort of a temperature heat input, and then things settling out, diffusion of that energy via conduction through the bar. There is some loss to the air around, and my original hope was to actually drop the bar into a cooler full of cellulose insulation and cover it back up to really just get the diffusion and minimize the loss to the environment. But I was having trouble not destroying my sensors and running out of time. So, but I think this is pretty small. If you'll notice in the electrical demonstration, there are resistors throughout, and the resistors are also dissipating energy, so there is loss of that electrical energy in that system as well. So I don't think that this does a poor job of doing something similar. Really the only thing that kind of bothers me is that my black trace ends up hotter than everything else. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't notice an offset in that sensor relative to the others. If you look at the beginning of the chart, it didn't seem to be there. I don't know if there's just some sort of geometry effect, or my sensor's going bad or what. So further study, that would be something to look into. And moving on to the next graph, this one shows the 6 positions centered. 0 is the center of the bar along its length, and each sensor was 3 centimeters from the last, and so this is their position over. These are the sensor temperatures on the y-axis. The x-axis is their position, and the multiple lines are their responses over time. And the black one, where the outer pairs are low and the center pair is high, is the first one. And you can see that the center two degrade. Their temperature decreases over time, and the outer two increase with time. And this is these are just straight lines in between these points, but you can definitely see the sort of expected diffusion sort of patterns. So anyway, that's all I'd like to cover at this point. Thanks for watching, and I hope this class has been as fun for you as it has been for me. Take care.